Next to Karia at the moment she died was her 5-year-old brother.
The parents of Karia Spicer are suing the city for the girl's 2020 death, alleging a police pursuit led to a two-car collision at 80th and Halsted that killed the 10-year-old and critically injured her brother.
A dramatic clash caught on camera between federal immigration officers and people in Chicago. Homeland Security officials say an undocumented immigrant inside this vehicle tried to flee from arrest, ramming into a Border Patrol vehicle and triggering a pursuit. Agents purposely crashing into the SUV to stop it. According to DHS, two people then fled on foot. Video shows agents searching a Walgreens. Warren King tells our station WLS he was in that Walgreens and got caught up in the chase.
On June 3rd, 2020, the suspect behind the wheel was spotted in Midlothian. CPD then picked up the pursuit on the Dan Ryan. SkyMap 7 speed tracker capturing his black Jeep traveling more than 100 miles per hour down that expressway and later the Kennedy. Then the driver crashes and carjacks a silver Nissan Rogue. He was in pursuit by a CPD car for over 3 miles on Irving Park Road before both cars run a red light and the police car crashes into Franco Martinez's vehicle.
High-speed police pursuits on the streets of Chicago have led to several notorious incidents in recent years. Innocent bystanders, including children and parents, have met their demise or gravely injured as a result of suspects fleeing and officers giving chase through dense urban areas. These tragedies have prompted intense scrutiny of the Chicago Police Department's pursuit policies and fueled calls for stricter limits on when and how police should engage in chases. The consequences have also been financially significant. Since 2019, Chicago taxpayers have paid well over $77 million to resolve lawsuits stemming from police pursuits, not including a single $79.85 million jury verdict awarded in late 2024. Below, we examine several of the most infamous Chicago police chases, what happened, the aftermath, and how each case influenced the ongoing debate over pursuit practices.
Tonight, the city of Chicago is admitting it bears legal responsibility for a crash that caused the death of a little girl 4 years ago. In September of 2020, a car fleeing Chicago police crashed into a vehicle carrying 10-year-old Karia Spicer, this near 80th and Halsted. Then Mayor Lori Lightfoot said publicly that a police chase was not the cause of the crash. Now, 1 week before a lawsuit was set to go to trial, lawyers for the city filing a motion admitting liability. The city is only contesting issues related to damages.
The parents of Karia Spicer are suing the city for the girl's 2020 death, alleging a police pursuit led to a two-car collision at 80th and Halsted that killed the 10-year-old and critically injured her brother. That afternoon, the family was going to pick up the girl's laptop for remote learning.
In September 2020, a high-speed chase on the south side ended in the death of 10-year-old Karia Spicer, highlighting how a pursuit over a minor infraction can turn catastrophic. Chicago officers in an unmarked car attempted to pull over a Mercedes-Benz for a routine traffic violation. The driver had been spotted using an alley as a through street, but the vehicle refused to stow. Instead, the Mercedes sped off at upwards of 90 miles per hour through the Auburn Gresham neighborhood with police in pursuit. The chase blew through a stop sign at the intersection of 80th Street and Halsted, where the fleeing Mercedes struck another car and then careened into the Spicer family's Honda. In the horrific collision that followed, 10-year-old Karia met her demise, and her father Kevin Spicer and 5-year-old brother were seriously injured. The family had simply been on the way to Karia's school to pick up a laptop for remote learning when their lives were shattered in an instant. This tragedy became a pivotal moment in Chicago's pursuit policy debate. The fact that police initiated a dangerous high-speed chase over such a low-level offense, a minor traffic violation, raised serious questions about whether the pursuit was justified. Video from a police dashcam even captured one pursuing officer predicting a crash moments before impact and then shouting "boom" when the collision occurred. In the aftermath, the Spicer family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city, arguing that the pursuit had been reckless and unwarranted. A Cook County jury agreed. In December 2024, they returned a landmark verdict of $79.85 million in damages to the family. If upheld, This nearly $80 million award would be one of the largest in Chicago's history, almost equal to the city's entire annual budget for police misconduct lawsuits.
A settlement moves closer with the city of Chicago and the family of a mother of 6. Today, the city's finance committee approved a $15 million settlement with the family of Guadalupe Franco Martinez. An attorney for the city describes the events she says led to the crash in 2020 and to the death of Franco Martinez. On June 3, 2020, the suspect behind the wheel was spotted in Midlothian. CPD then picked up the pursuit on the Dan Ryan. SkyMap 7 speed tracker capturing his black Jeep traveling more than 100 miles per hour down that expressway and later the Kennedy. Then the driver crashes and carjacks a silver Nissan Rogue. He was in pursuit by a CPD car for over 3 miles on Irving Park Road before both cars run a red light and the police car crashes into Franco Martinez's vehicle.
Flowers in a splintered tree trunk mark the spot where 37-year-old Guadalupe Francisco Martinez lost her life last night. Cop car was one of many that had been tracking the homicide suspect on an hour-long high-speed police chase across the city. At one point, the suspect crashed into several cars near Irving Park Road after exiting the Kennedy. Then he ran to this gas station at Irving Park in Pulaski, stole another car, and kept driving. Scanner traffic reports that police stopped chasing at one point.
Yeah, back there, it looks like the police car stopped chasing them, but we're still watching them.
But apparently picked back up, following the offender who was clocking speeds of at least 100 miles per hour.
Hey, carjacked the second vehicle on southbound Irving Park on Lakeshore Drive. Right, so I let them know. You got a description of the vehicle?
Silver.
Eventually, the driver hit a pole and after a short chase on foot was arrested in the 800 block of West Pershing.
Just a few months prior to the Spicer tragedy, another deadly chase in Chicago had already sparked calls for reform. On June 3, 2020, Guadalupe Francisco Martinez, a mother of 6, was struck and met her demise by a speeding police vehicle during a chaotic citywide pursuit. The incident began when Chicago officers joined a chase initiated by Illinois State Police for a vehicle wanted in connection with a shooting. The suspect, driving a stolen Jeep Grand Cherokee, led authorities on an hours-long, harrowing high-speed chase down expressways and city streets, reaching over 100 miles per hour on the highways and 90 miles per hour on neighborhood roads. He even crashed the Jeep on the northwest side, then carjacked a Nissan SUV to continue his escape attempt. Throughout this chase, police supervisors had repeatedly ordered the pursuing units to terminate the pursuit, relying on a helicopter to track the suspect instead. Despite those direct orders, multiple officers kept chasing the suspect into the Lakeview area on the north side. As the fleeing suspect sped east on Irving Park Road, a marked CPD SUV driven by an officer raced through a red light at the intersection of Irving Park and Ashland Avenue and plowed into the side of Guadalupe Francisco Martinez Ford Explorer. Francisco Martinez had a green light and was partway through the intersection when the police SUV traveling an estimated 98 miles per hour slammed into her vehicle. The impact was devastating. She was fatally injured and pronounced dead after emergency surgery, leaving behind 6 children, the youngest only 6 years old. Heartbreakingly, Guadalupe was simply on her way home from her first day at a new job when the crash occurred. The death of Francisco Martinez immediately ignited public outrage and demands for accountability. Not only had an innocent woman had met her demise, but it became clear that officers had violated department policy by continuing a pursuit that their superiors told them to halt. Dispatch records revealed that a police dispatcher radioed "terminate the chase" and even confirmed getting a terminate prior to the collision. Yet at least one squad car kept going at high speed. The fallout from this case was significant. In the immediate aftermath, the Chicago Police Department moved to revise its vehicle pursuit policy. Legally, the city faced accountability as well. In September 2022, the Chicago City Council approved a $15 million settlement to resolve the wrongful death lawsuit brought by Francisco Martinez's family. Officer Blanco's actions remained under investigation by the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, and the case became a cautionary tale within the department. On August
A dramatic clash caught on camera between federal immigration officers and people in Chicago. Homeland Security officials say an undocumented immigrant inside this vehicle tried to flee from arrest, ramming into a Border Patrol vehicle and triggering a pursuit. Agents purposely crashing into the SUV to stop it. According to DHS, two people then fled on foot. Video shows agents searching a Walgreens. Warren King tells our station WLS he was in that Walgreens and got caught up in the chase.
He's a citizen! He's a citizen!
Video shows agents tackling and detaining him. He was later released.
I'm telling them I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm here. I'm legal. I'm born here. So they didn't try to hear none of that though.
A crowd at the scene growing hostile, throwing objects, agents firing tear gas.
He's a citizen!
The woman on the other end of this cell phone video, Customs and Border Patrol spokesman told NBC5 Investigates in an email that agents were pursuing undocumented individuals when they say the driver rammed into a Border Patrol vehicle. Agents pursued that car and stopped it using what's called a pit maneuver. The spokesman also said the subjects attempted to run away and were arrested. Border Patrol described the crowd that gathered afterwards as, quote, hostile, and acknowledged in an emailed statement that they used crowd control measures. These images show both tear gas and canned smoke were used.
In October 2025, a Border Patrol immigration operation on Chicago's far southeast side spiraled into chaos, revealing the dangers of federal high-speed pursuits in city neighborhoods. On the morning of October 14th, agents tried to stop a red SUV near 105th Street and Avenue N, suspecting the driver of being in the U.S. unlawfully. When the vehicle rammed a Border Patrol SUV and fled, agents gave chase for nearly 30 minutes through residential streets. In defiance of Chicago's strict pursuit policy, they executed a precision immobilization technique maneuver, intentionally ramming the SUV to end the chase. The car spun out and crashed. Two people were arrested after fleeing on foot, but the aftermath proved worse than the pursuit itself. Dozens of residents gathered, furious that an immigration raid had turned their neighborhood into a war zone. As tensions rose, Border Patrol agents deployed tear gas, pepper balls, and smoke grenades, striking protesters and even Chicago police officers caught in the crossfire. 13 CPD officers suffered exposure. The incident drew condemnation from city and state officials, who argued the chase endangered civilians and violated recent bans on chemical weapons against protesters. It underscored the hazards of aggressive federal enforcement and the breakdown that occurs when outside agencies act without coordination or restraint. On August 9, 2020, an unmarked Chicago police unit on the near south side spotted an SUV believed to be stolen. Although CPD policy at the time barred vehicle pursuits for non-violent property crimes, Officer Ricardo Teniuk initiated a chase and, according to later findings, did so without activating lights or siren or notifying dispatch violations of multiple safety protocols. The pursuit pushed into Armour Square around 31st Street, where the fleeing SUV struck 55-year-old pedestrian Angela Parks as she crossed at 31st and Wells. The impact shattered her spine, leaving her quadriplegic. After 18 months of complications, Parks died in February 2022. Because CPD's rules explicitly prohibited pursuits for suspected stolen vehicles, the incident was deemed an unauthorized chase. Parks's family sued the city, and Chicago's Corporation Council acknowledged that officers failed to follow policy. In early 2025, city attorneys recommended a $27 million settlement, $20 million from taxpayers and $7 million from the city's insurer to avoid trial. Beyond the financial cost, the case became a stark warning about discretionary chases. When policy is ignored, bystanders bear the risk. CPD reiterated its 2020 pursuit guidelines afterward, emphasizing that officers are expected and supported to disengage from low-level pursuits when public safety is at stake. From 2020 to 2025, Chicago showed a clear pattern. High-speed pursuits in dense neighborhoods too often end in catastrophe, deletions, or severely injuring bystanders when chases spin out of control. In response, CPD tightened its rules, revamping the vehicle pursuit policy in 2020 to limit chases to the most serious crimes and prioritize public safety, and adding a 2022 foot pursuit policy to curb risky on-foot engagements while explicitly encouraging officers to terminate when conditions turn dangerous, without fear of discipline. The stakes aren't only human. Chicago has paid multiple multi-million-dollar settlements, underscoring how the costs of a bad pursuit can far exceed the value of catching a suspect in the moment. The emerging consensus: use pursuits sparingly, weigh immediate risk to bystanders, and lean on alternatives, tracking, helicopters, and delayed arrests, because justice can't come at the expense of innocent lives.